All right, the red dot says live. We are live. Equipment failures notwithstanding, I'm about 4 or 5 minutes late, but like I really give a rat's, okay? Here we go. I want to talk about the fact that freedom isn't free. You know, there can be compromise, right? No, there can't. Thank you. There can never be a compromise between freedom and safety. It's not possible. Thomas Jefferson said something about it. I don't remember what the hell it was, but it amounts to, if you surrender any of your freedoms for safety, you'll end up with neither one. Now, a lot of us learned a great many lessons in the recent COVID-19 hysteria. You remember the days? This was a cold bug, no more fatal or dangerous than a mild case of the flu. But the media, big pharma, government, the evil triad, blew this up. They turned it into a doomsday bug. It's going to kill the world. Ah! And they put people around the world into a blind panic because people are chicken shit. That's the race. That's the nature of the human race. America's Constitution was pretty much suspended. Not officially, but it was so horribly violated on so many fronts, it might as well have been suspended. Americans were locked down in their homes. Shops and businesses and factories around the country were shut down for the most part. I can remember you couldn't go to the dentist, you couldn't go to the barber, but you could take your damn dog to a grooming salon. Thank you, Governor Brad Little of Idaho, you jackass son of a bitch. Churches were shuttered. Freedom of speech and religion, gone. Right out the window, along with any amount of common sense. Now, as this triad of evil, government, media, big pharma, continued their campaign, they made money like you never saw. They grew with power. They grew financially. Some companies like Astra Zeneca or Pfizer, hell, those two raked in more money in 2 short years than the gross national product of Canada. People were arrested. People were detained. People were beaten for violating shelter-in-place rules. None of the many edicts that not one of these bitches, not one of these laws, quote unquote, ever went to the Congress, ever saw the floor of the Senate. They were simply the edicts of a dictator government, a rogue government gone totally off the rails. Now, I guess they couldn't pass these things legally because the legislature was also locked out of their homes. They're locked down. They couldn't go to work. We had no legislature. We had no Supreme Court. But wait, we did have a Supreme Court. We talk about it. Your Congress was all sent home. Your Senate was all sent home. This Biden fellow really enjoyed whipping up a furor with this COVID-19, all right? People were told to stay at least 6 feet away from each other, even outdoors. All of our public schools were closed. Yeah, our primary schools, our middle schools, high schools, basically the nation's babysitters, they were closed. A national virus identification program was floated. They wanted everybody to have this ID to do anything, but it didn't quite make it. Now, New York tried, and they made some headway, but eventually all the hullabaloo and all the bullshit died down. Understand, nationwide, millions of workers in the private sector, public servants, police, fire, military, were ordered to be injected with this experimental series of chemicals, the ones that the pharmaceutical firms said, here, try it. Even though the pharmaceutical firms said, we don't think it'll stop the spread. We don't think it'll stop your sensitivity. We don't know what it will do to you in the long run because there have been no studies. Meaning you could get screwed for life, and a lot of people have been, Guillain-Barré syndrome. A national virus identification program was floated. Okay? But it never quite caught on. However, you couldn't fly on airlines. You had to have proof of vaccination and wear a mask to fly on a plane. Paying your fare wasn't good enough. The whole country was on a conditional no-fly list. Now, as all of this chaos ensued, there were the strong and there were the weak. I'll give you an example of strength. The Roman Catholic Diocese of Brooklyn teamed up with a few other synagogues And they went to the Supreme Court, and in 3 days, Supreme Court shot down this lockdown of the churches, this you can't worship, this shelter in place. They shot it down. They opened up. They worshiped. They told the government, screw you, here's the courts, we're going to do it. Their courage was a model for us all. Another very big church, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, Mormons, on the other hand, they cowered. They cringed like scared dogs. They shut down all of their churches and chapels. They shut down their temples. And then eventually when they did open them up again, many months later, they still had tape and signs implementing their own keep your distance and wear a mask policies. For you guys, I say, and any other churches that bought this crap. You could have gone to the Supreme Court like the Catholics. They'd already set the precedent, but you couldn't be bothered because either A, you drank the Kool-Aid, or B, you're a part of the problem. Now, in all, our nation showed its true colors. That being big yellow streak running down our back. A nation of frickin' cowards. You know what? When 911 happened, same thing happened. Oh my God, oh, they're attacking. We turned coward. When COVID-19 happened, we did it again. What's next, you cowardly bastards? How about insurrection or civil war? That'll sure as hell do it. Today, our nation is plagued with rioting in virtually every major city in the country and some not so major cities. The excuse is to protest immigration custom enforcement's arresting of illegal aliens. I say excuse because the real reason is from forces far more sinister that are behind these riots. There are too many professional rioters showing up. It's time to pay once again for our freedom as we support our police, our sheriffs, state police, immigration police, National Guard, Marine Corps, military, and any other forces necessary to prevent a full-scale war. This insurrection, it's much more sinister, larger in scope, and far more threatening than the January 6th thing. And it's as threatening as pre-Civil War America. It eclipses the January 6th thing. Understand this, we're in a real situation now. You're out there right now holding your signs. You're spitting on the American flag. You're waving your South American flag. You're prancing around like whatever on top of burning police cars. You know what? Either you're with us or you're against us. You just can't get it through your thick heads. People, freedom is not free. I'm Max, and that's the way it is.